The Shree Pretoria Hindu Seva Samaj recently celebrated its 80th anniversary, which saw the entire community come together. Activities began on Friday, the 21st of September, with a special dinner for the elders in society. For those pioneering members that lived to celebrate and witness the 80th anniversary, a golden shawl was bestowed upon them with a blessing by the organization. Let's take a look at some of the visuals.
As you know, we're celebrating the 80th anniversary of the Shree Pretoria Hindu Seva Samaj, and when we decided on the program, we in fact said to ourselves that we need to firstly honor the elders in our community who were the pioneers in the fostering and maintenance of this very prestigious organization, the Shree Pretoria Hindu Seva Samaj. So, many of these elders that are here today were in fact the officials, presidents, trustees of the organization, and we felt that it was incumbent upon us to be able to get their blessing and to also thank them for this pioneering work that they've done and achieved in order for us to be able to be here today. Starting with today, which is the dinner for the elders, where we are asking for their blessing, and then tomorrow, which is Saturday, we dedicated that particular day for the purposes of the children and the youth in our community. So tomorrow there's a baby competition and a fancy dress competition, which is hosted by the Bharatiya Shree Mandal, which is the ladies grouping in Laudium, and we're going to be enjoying ourselves with the children. A lot of the children are from the local community. And then in the evening we have Shashika Murat for the youngsters. She's one of these renowned singers who's professional in bhajans, and also we have some Bollywood dancers. So tomorrow is dedicated to the youngsters, and of course on Saturday is the official program, where in fact we celebrate the 80 years of the Samaj, where there will be speeches by various officials, and we are fortunate enough to have been this occasion will be graced by the Honorable Minister of Finance, Mr. Praveen Gordhan, and he'll be the keynote speaker tomorrow. And he's also a member of our community. He lives in Pretoria. So effectively tomorrow is going to be quite exciting. On Sunday it will be quite exciting that the official program will take place.
Namaste to our elders, residing priests, Samaj officials, friends and colleagues. On behalf of the Shree Pretoria Hindu Seva Samaj, I have great honor and privilege to welcome each one of you present here today to our Samaj's 80th anniversary celebration. The very elderly that are present here today, and many that have passed on over the years, in their young days, laid such a solid foundation for the Shree Pretoria Hindu Seva Samaj that we are all proud today to witness this history in the making. What better way than this to start off our celebrations together with our elders here today? I think we need to give our elders a big round of applause. With their blessings, may our Samaj grow from strength to strength. I am Harshulaben Rauji, member of the Health, Welfare and Gender Committee of the Shree Pretoria Hindu Seva Samaj. I am the MC for today's function and will take you through tonight's program.
देवा गणपति देवा मंगलम गणेशम देवा हो देवा गणपति देवा मंगलम गणेशम देवा हो देवा गणपति देवा मंगलम गणेशम
Well, what few people realize is that the Shree Pretoria Hindu Seva Samaj history is inextricably linked to that of Mahatma Gandhi. And I know this will come as a surprise to many, but Mahatma Gandhi came to South Africa because there was problems between some members of the Pretoria community, and he was called to South Africa. And the experiences he went through to come to South Africa set the basis for the Satyagraha movement. And of course, what that meant is that when he went back to India and started the resistance movement for India to get India's independence, the people of South Africa, and of Pretoria in particular, was so taken up with his struggle that they decided that they also needed to form an organization so that they could strongly support this. And that is how, in 1932, the Shree Pretoria Hindu Seva Samaj was formed. It was actually a solidarity movement to support the cause of the Indian independence movement that was started by Mahatma Gandhi.
तू ही आदि तू ही है अंत, देवा महिमा तेरी अनंत। तू ही आदि तू ही है अंत, देवा महिमा तेरी अनंत। गजाननं भूतगणाधि सेवितं उमासुतं शोक विनाशकारकं मंगलं गणेशाय। देवा हो देवा गणपति देवा मंगलं गणेशं। देवा हो देवा गणपति देवा मंगलं गणेशं। विघ्न विनाशक जन सुखदायक।
So this early band of pioneers had to struggle with the idea of how to encourage our culture and our language. And so one of the first things they decided to do was to form the Gujarati school at the Shree Pretoria Hindu Seva Samaj in Marabastad. The idea came about that the children that were in Prinsloo Street, how do we transport these children? And ironically, the suggestion that was made was that why don't we buy a truck from the army and that will serve as a transport vehicle for these children. And so thus the first army truck was bought and the children were transported from Prinsloo Street to the school in Marabastad.
विनाशक जन सुखदायक मंगलम गणेशाय। देवा हो देवा गणपति देवा मंगलम गणेशम। 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 देवा हो देवा गणपति देवा मंगलम गणेशम।
Now I call upon Mr. Praveen Bhai Raya, Vice President of the Shree Pretoria Hindu Seva Samaj, to address us. Thank you.
I bid you, on behalf of the Shree Pretoria Hindu Seva Samaj, a very warm welcome to tonight's milestone function in the history of our Samaj, its 80th anniversary. In 1932, just after the worldwide depression years and amidst the many economic problems, our Samaj was established. The common purpose of the Samaj was to be there as a collective to support each other in social, religious, and education activities. With this ideal and vision, the Samaj began to grow in stature as the years went by and continued to gain strength in unity. Our forefathers and mothers had the courage and resolve to ensure the success of the Samaj, and their sacrifice and endeavors have brought us to the present celebrations and allowed us to reach this momentous anniversary. If it was not for their efforts, we would not have been here tonight, nor would we have achieved what we have today. All of us, owe a huge debt of gratitude to the pioneers of the Samaj for having guided the community in its religious, cultural, social, and vernacular education needs. In conclusion, I pay tribute to all our special guests tonight, namely the over 65s and over 80s. On behalf of the executive and trustees, I extend our sincere and heartfelt thanks to you for being with us tonight and joining in the celebrations dedicated to you and honoring the Samaj's 80th anniversary. I thank you for your audience. Ariom Tat Jai Shri Krishna.
Okay, now we're going to have a cake cutting ceremony with our seniors. At every monthly meeting, we cut a cake for birthdays. Today, we're going to cut a cake for our Seva Samaj's 80th anniversary. So can all the committee members please come on stage, Prakash Bhai and Mansukh Bhai as well. We're going to sing for our Seva Samaj's 80th anniversary. So please, you can stand, you can clap, you can dance. It's a very, very auspicious day today. So let us start singing. Bar bar din ye aaye, bar bar din ye aaye, tu jiyo hazaron saal, ye meri hai aarzu. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to Seva Samaj. Happy birthday to you. Hip hip hooray! Hip hip hooray! Hip hip hooray! Well done, Jiman Bhai. No. We're going to ask Prakash Bhai and Jivan Bhai to hold the knife as a senior and a young youth, as a young president to cut the cake for us. Okay, everybody will have a taste of the cake for dessert. Thank you very much. We want to honor our 80 years plus elders, and it coincides with our 80-year celebration. We have a very small token of appreciation. We can never repay them for what they have done for us. Okay, now in our midst, we have very old senior citizens. We have someone that is 99 years old here today. There's someone that's 95. So we are proud because they have so much history and wisdom with them here today. So we're going to honor and appreciate. We have a small token of appreciation for our seniors.
Those who remembered the history shared their stories and recollected some of the events of their pioneering members and family.
We are now with Mr. Ashwinbhai Joshi. Good evening, sir.
Good evening.
How long have you been with the organization?
My family, I migrated from India in 1903. My father and my uncles and all of them were born here. Then in 1955, had to go to India to study because it was very difficult to get into varsity. Then we came back, and our family, along with many of our local people, the Chagan family, the Jeevan family, were the pioneers who established the Seva Samaj in 1932.
We are now standing with the past chairman of the Board of Trustees. Good evening, sir. What are your comments on tonight's celebrations?
I think it's a momentous occasion that the community has celebrated 80 years of its existence. That if one considers that any community is gauged by how it upholds its traditions, its religious values, and its vernacular education, then considering that there was little support from the government over the years, the community rallied together under difficult circumstances to put together a program of activity which has resulted in not only the propagation of these values, but also in fact the erection of these structures which allow the various activities to take place. And I think it is a tribute to the people of the past who had the foresight to develop such programs which have anchored things together.
We are now with Mr. Mahindra Sita, a past member of the Board of Trustees and Secretary. Good evening, sir.
Good evening.
So, what is your thoughts about the organization and what is your message to the youth tonight?
If looking in the future, first of all, we have to look at the past. And in the past, as was elucidated by Pankaj Bhai, about the struggles of the elders of our society under the apartheid regime, one must admire the endeavors that was put in by our forefathers in establishing the Hindu Seva Samaj and the value systems that was laid down initially. Today, the society is such, and yes, more so the new generation, are faced with the bombardment of the Western cultures. And it is incumbent upon us, the new generation, and more so the new coming generation, to embrace our culture, revisit our culture and religion in a manner of speaking, so that we don't fail the legacy that has been left behind by our forefathers. With the new South Africa that we have, things have opened up, opportunities have increased, and we see a lot of people, especially from Pretoria, from the Hindu community, playing major roles in the political, economical, and social welfare aspects of the country. So we are contributing tremendously in the country's benefit, in upliftment of the country. What is important, of course, whilst we are doing all that we embrace and enhance the culture, the values and religious values of Hinduism, and thereby making more progress for the generations to come.
Thank you.
I was born in Pretoria in 1935, and those were the old days where our Samaj was in this booming, not booming, but very baby form. What we were there as academic, I came back and we started the youth club known as the Navyuga Mandal. We started in full force with being an academic qualified. We used to provide, preferably to tradition. When I used to speak on stage, I always maintain our elders who came here 180 years ago, they had basic 4 foundation stones, pillars. That was religion, the Gujarati language, the tradition, and the culture. There's 4 heritage pillars which 180 years what our elders came. Even today, there's 80 years after that also, it's the same cultural foundation that we have laid here. We are still maintaining that. And after another 180 years also, the same foundation will be there. because it's basic, universal of Hinduism. And that's what we are striving for. And during those old days, it was good fun. The unity was fantastic. We never used to be in Lodium. We should be in the Asiatic Bazaar. We had our temple, the vernacular school site, and we had a small little temple on the side. But as years passed, the cultural activities and the group areas act passed on to Lodium. And that our community was starting to build this auditorium, the temple, and the vernacular school. As long as the sun rises and the moon will be there in the evening. Hari Om Tat Sat Tat Tvam Asi.